The Great Silence, the emergency session of the Galactic Council, had been called for the first time in over 2 centuries. Representatives from 47 different species filled the massive crystalline chamber that orbited the neutral world of Kepler 442b. The air thrummed with tension as translators worked over time to convert the babel of alien languages into coherent meaning. Ambassador Crix of the Zephyrian Federation stood at the central podium, his forearms gesturing emphatically as he addressed the assembly. His pale blue skin had taken on a darker hue, a clear sign of distress among his kind. The vertical slits that served as his eyes narrowed as he spoke. Honored delegates, we gather today to address a crisis unlike any we have faced. 6 months, 12 days, and 7 hours ago, all communication with the human territories ceased completely, not gradually, not partially, but instantaneously across their entire civilization. A ripple of unease passed through the chamber. The crystalline entity known as Lumina pulsed with soft amber light, her thoughts resonating through the translation matrix. The humans were among our most active members. Their rapid advancement in the past 50 years was remarkable, even concerning to some. Commander Voss of the Reptilian Defense Corps hissed softly, his scaled hide shifting from green to a warning yellow, perhaps too remarkable. Their expansion rate exceeded all projections. They went from a single world to controlling 17 star systems in less than a century. No species achieves such growth without consequence. Crix raised one of his upper arms for silence. The facts remain unchanged regardless of our opinions. The humans had colonies on 43 worlds, deep space stations in over 100 systems, and their merchant fleets were among the most far-reaching in known space. All of it gone silent at exactly the same moment. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of sounds, chittering, warbling, harmonic resonances, and guttural growls filled the air as dozens of species voiced their theories simultaneously. Some spoke of human treachery, others of cosmic catastrophe, and still others of technological transcendence. Lumina's crystalline form brightened, cutting through the noise like a beacon. Her ancient voice carried the weight of millennia. In my 3,000 years, I have seen civilizations rise and fall. I have witnessed plagues that consumed entire star clusters and wars that left nebulae barren of life. But I have never seen a complete disappearance like this. When civilizations die, they leave traces, ruins, debris fields, radiation signatures. Something, the human territories show none of these markers. Then where are they? Demanded Voss, his reptilian features twisting with suspicion. A civilization of 12 billion beings across dozens of worlds doesn't simply vanish without a trace. Either they're hiding something, or something has hidden them. Crix activated the chamber's central display, showing a 3-dimensional map of known space. The human territories appeared as a cluster of red dots, each one marking a world or station that had gone dark. Our long-range sensors detect no destruction, no debris fields, no signs of conflict. The infrastructure remains intact. Orbital platforms still maintain their positions. Agricultural satellites continue their automated functions, but there are no life signs anywhere. An insectoid delegate from the hive worlds clicked her mandibles rapidly. Perhaps they applauded themselves into their computers. Some species choose digital existence over biological limitations. Our scans would have detected such massive data transfers, Crix replied. There's no increased computational activity. anywhere in their space. If anything, processing power has decreased significantly. Young Ambassador Telix from the Aquarian depths raised a webbed hand. What about their ships? Surely their merchant vessels and exploration fleets weren't all in human space when this occurred. That's perhaps the most disturbing aspect, Crix said, manipulating the display to show shipping lanes and known fleet positions. Every human vessel, regardless of location, went silent at the exact same moment. We tracked 17 merchant ships that were in our space at the time. All of them simply stopped responding to communications and began heading back toward human territory at maximum speed. Did anyone try to intercept them? Voss asked, his combat instincts clearly engaged. The Altarian Defense Force attempted to board a human cargo hauler. The ship's automated defenses activated, but instead of attacking, it broadcast a single message on repeat. We're sorry. Please understand, we're trying to protect you. Then it destroyed itself. A chill seemed to settle over the chamber. The implications of that message sent waves of unease through every delegate present, species that had known the humans as friendly, traders, enthusiastic explorers, and innovative problem solvers now faced the possibility that something had turned them into a threat. Lumina's crystalline form dimmed as she processed this information. Self-destruction to avoid capture suggests they were compelled by something beyond normal reasoning. Fear can drive beings to desperate measures, but this level of coordination across an entire species indicates something more systematic, or more sinister, Voss added grimly. What if they weren't destroyed? What if they were converted, absorbed, made into something else entirely? The possibility hung in the air like a toxic cloud. Several delegates shifted uncomfortably in their seats, while others activated personal shields or defensive measures. The idea that the humans might have become some kind of threat was almost too terrible to consider. Crix continued his briefing, highlighting key data points. Our analysis teams have identified several anomalies. First, just before the silence began, we detected a massive spike in quantum communications throughout human space. The signal was encoded using protocols we've never seen before. Second, deep space monitoring stations recorded gravitational fluctuations consistent with large-scale fleet movements, but no ships were visible on any sensors. They could be using some form of stealth technology, suggested a delegate from the Silicon Collective. Human innovation often exceeded our expectations. Perhaps they developed cloaking capabilities beyond our detection methods. Third, Crix continued, and most concerning, we've detected periodic energy signatures emanating from human space. These pulses occur every 72 hours and seem to originate from multiple points simultaneously. The energy pattern doesn't match any known human technology. Commander Voss stood, his imposing reptilian form casting shadows across the chamber. Delegates, we're dealing with an unknown threat of unprecedented scope. I propose we establish a quarantine around all former human territories until we understand what we're facing. Quarantine an entire species worth of territory, Telix protested. That's nearly a fifth of explored space. The economic disruption alone would be catastrophic. Better economic disruption than species extinction, Voss replied coldly. If the humans have been compromised by some external force, we need to assume that force is hostile until proven otherwise. Lumina pulsed thoughtfully. Perhaps we should consider a different approach. If the humans are in distress, abandoning them would violate every principle the Galactic Council was founded upon. I propose we send investigation fleets to human space. small, well-defended groups that can gather information without presenting a significant threat or target. The debate that followed lasted for hours. Some species wanted immediate military action, others called for complete isolation, and still others advocated for peaceful contact attempts. Finally, Crick's called for a formal vote. All those in favor of organized investigation missions to human space. 23 delegates voted in favor. 20 voted against. 4 abstained. The motion carries, Crick's announced. We'll organize 3 investigation fleets, each composed of representatives from different species. Their mission will be to determine the fate of humanity and assess any potential threats. As the delegates filed out of the chamber, Lumina approached Crick's. Her crystalline form had taken on a deep blue hue, indicating profound concern. "You're worried," Crick's observed. "In all my years, I've learned to trust certain instincts. Something about this situation feels wrong, but not in the way we might expect. The humans I knew were curious, resourceful, and deeply committed to protecting those they cared about. If they chose silence, they had a reason. You think they're protecting us from something. I think we're about to find out just how far humans will go to keep their friends safe," Lumina replied, her light dimming as she contemplated the possibilities. 3 weeks later, the first investigation fleet departed for human space. It consisted of 12 ships from 8 different species, equipped with the most advanced sensors and defensive systems available. Their destination was the Sol system, humanity's birth world and the heart of their civilization. None of the delegates could have imagined what they would find there. The truth was far more extraordinary and terrifying than any of their theories had suggested. Humanity hadn't been destroyed, converted, or compromised. They had made a choice that would redefine what it meant to be human in a galaxy full of dangers beyond imagination. The investigation fleet transmitted their final automated beacon as they crossed into human space. The message was simple: approaching Sol system, all systems nominal, will report findings in 72 hours. That was the last anyone heard from them for nearly a month. The Watchers revealed the second investigation fleet approached the Sol system with extreme caution. The fate of the first fleet remained unknown, their ships having vanished as completely as the humans themselves. Captain Zethis of the Altarian Navy commanded the lead vessel, a heavily armed exploration cruiser designed to survive almost any conceivable threat. "Sensor readings?" Zethis inquired, her voice carrying the natural harmony of her species. "All human orbital installations appear intact but inactive," reported her science officer, a young Zephyrian named Corix. "No energy signatures, no communications, no movement. It's like looking at a perfectly preserved museum." The fleet consisted of 8 ships this time, smaller and more maneuverable than the previous expedition. Each vessel represented a different member species of the Council, and each carried specialized equipment designed to solve the mystery of human space. "What about Earth itself?" Zethis asked. "Remarkable," Corix breathed, his voice filled with wonder and concern. "The planet appears completely dark on the night side. No city lights, no industrial signatures, no atmospheric traffic. But the continents are still green, the oceans are clean, and the atmosphere remains perfectly balanced for human life. Through the viewports, Earth hung in space like a jewel, beautiful and serene. But the absence of any signs of civilization made it appear almost ghostly. No lights twinkled on the dark hemisphere, no spacecraft moved between the planet and its moon, and no radio chatter filled the electromagnetic spectrum." "Captain," called out Commander Voss from his ship, My sensors are detecting something unusual. From Luna, there's a faint energy signature. Very weak, but definitely artificial. All ships maintain defensive formation, Zethus ordered. We'll investigate the lunar anomaly first. As they approached Earth's moon, the mystery deepened. The human lunar colonies were visible through telescopes, their domes and structures intact, but like everything else in human space, they showed no signs of activity. "Wait," Corix said suddenly, his voice rising with excitement. "I'm detecting atmosphere inside the lunar facilities. And there's a very faint heat signature in the primary research complex." The landing party consisted of 6 beings from different species, each equipped with environmental suits and emergency translation devices. They made their way to the airlock of Lunar Research Station Alpha, the largest human facility on the moon's surface. The airlock cycled normally, accepting their override codes and pressurizing the chamber. When the inner door opened, they found themselves in a corridor that looked as if it had been abandoned only moments before. Coffee cups sat on desks with liquids still inside. Workstations displayed active screens, and personal items were scattered about as if their owners had simply stepped away for a brief moment. "This is impossible," whispered Telix, the young Aquarian delegate who had joined the mission. "These facilities have been dark for over 6 months, but everything looks like it was occupied yesterday." They made their way deeper into the facility, following the energy signature that had drawn them there. It led to a section of the station that hadn't appeared on any of the original architectural plans. Hidden behind what looked like a storage area was a sophisticated command center filled with technology that surpassed anything the humans had previously. Demonstrated at the center of the room sat a single human. Dr. Elena Vasquez looked up as they entered, her dark eyes showing no surprise at their arrival. She was a woman in her 50s, with graying hair pulled back in a practical ponytail and wearing a simple blue jumpsuit. Despite being alone in an abandoned lunar facility for months, she appeared healthy, alert, and completely calm. "You're earlier than we expected," she said in perfect Galactic standard, rising from her chair. "But I suppose that's good. We don't have much time left." The alien delegation stared at her in stunned silence. After months of mystery and speculation, finding a single human calmly working in a hidden control room was the last thing they had anticipated. "Dr. Vasquez, I presume," Zethus said finally, checking the human personnel files they had brought along. "You're listed as the station's chief xenobiology researcher." Among other things, Alina replied with a tired smile, "Please, sit down. You're going to want to be comfortable for this explanation." As the aliens settled into chairs that had clearly been prepared for them, Alina activated a holographic display that filled the center of the room. It showed a 3-dimensional map of the galaxy, but with features none of them had seen before. 6 months ago, our deep space monitoring networks detected something approaching from outside our galaxy, Alina began. Something that had consumed everything in its path for the past 1,000,000 years. The hologram shifted to show a vast dark region at the galaxy's edge, slowly expanding inward like a cancer eating away at the stars themselves. "We call it the Collective," Alina continued. "It's not a species in any sense we understand. It's more like a cosmic force that converts matter, energy, and consciousness into extensions of itself. Every civilization it encounters becomes part of its mass, their knowledge and capabilities added to its ever-growing intelligence. Luminous, crystalline form, which had been part of the delegation, pulsed with deep concern. How long do we have? At its current rate of expansion, Approximately 18 months before it reaches the core worlds of the Galactic Council, Alina replied matter-of-factly. Less if it accelerates, which our models suggest it will as it encounters more advanced civilizations. Then why didn't you warn us? Voss demanded, his reptilian nature making him direct even in the face of existential horror. Why disappear? Why leave us defenseless? Elena's expression grew sad but determined. Because warning you would have doomed us all. The collective doesn't just consume civilizations randomly. It's drawn to certain types of activity. Specifically, it's attracted to species that demonstrate rapid technological advancement, aggressive expansion, and large-scale communication networks. The implications hit the delegation like a physical blow. They looked around at each other, representing exactly the type of galactic civilization Alina had just described. The moment the collective detects a spacefaring civilization, it changes course to intercept them, Alina continued. Our analysis showed that if we had revealed the threat to the Galactic Council, the massive communication networks, emergency fleet movements, and technological development programs would have acted like a beacon. The collective would have accelerated its approach by a factor of 10. So you sacrificed your entire civilization to buy us time? Telix asked, his aquatic features showing expressions of awe and horror. We didn't sacrifice anything, Alina said firmly. We went dark. Every human colony, every ship, every installation, shut down all non-essential communications and energy signatures. We've spent the last 6 months living quietly, using minimal technology, and preparing. Preparing for what? Zethis asked. Alina smiled, and for the first time since they'd met her, it was a genuinely hopeful expression. To fight back, she manipulated the holographic display to show the current state of human space. What had appeared empty to alien sensors was revealed to be teeming with activity. Stealth ships moved between systems, hidden installations worked around the clock, and a vast network of concealed communication relays kept the entire human civilization connected without broadcasting their presence to the galaxy at large. We've been watching you, Alina continued. Every council session, every fleet movement, every scientific breakthrough. We've been protecting you from detection while developing countermeasures against the collective. What kind of countermeasures? Voss asked, his military mind immediately focusing on the practical aspects. The collective converts matter and energy, but it has one weakness. It can't process certain types of quantum interference patterns. We've developed weapons that create cascading quantum disruptions. In testing, they've proven effective at breaking down the collective's control structures. Alina activated another display showing technical schematics that were far beyond anything the humans had previously shared with the galaxy. The designs incorporated principles of physics that some species had only theorized about. How is this possible? Corix asked, studying the displays with fascination. Human technology wasn't this advanced 6 months ago. Desperation is a powerful motivator, Alina replied. When you know you're fighting for the survival of not just your own species, but everyone you care about, you find ways to transcend your limitations. We've made more scientific progress in the last 6 months than in the previous century. But surely you can't fight this thing alone, Lumina observed, her ancient wisdom recognizing the magnitude of the threat. You're right, Alina agreed. We can't, but we can give the galaxy a fighting chance. The question is whether you're willing to trust us. The alien delegation exchanged glances, each processing the enormity of what they'd learned. Humanity hadn't abandoned them or been destroyed by some unknown force. They had voluntarily entered a state of technological hibernation to protect their friends while secretly preparing for a war that would determine the fate of all life in the galaxy. "What do you need from us?" Zethus asked, speaking for the group. "Officially, nothing. You need to return to the Council and convince them to maintain minimal communication protocols and avoid any massive technological initiatives for the next year. Tell them humanity is dealing with an internal crisis and requests privacy while we resolve it. And unofficially," Elena's smile widened, "unofficially, we need volunteers, individuals who are willing to work with us in secret, helping to prepare defenses and weapons that might save us all. It won't be easy, and there's no guarantee we'll succeed, but it's the only chance we have." Over the next several hours, Elena showed them the scope of humanity's hidden preparations. Entire fleets of stealth ships equipped with quantum disruptor, weapons, massive defensive installations hidden within asteroid fields and planetary rings, research facilities where human and alien scientists worked together to understand and counter the collective's capabilities. Most remarkably, they learned that humanity had been secretly recruiting volunteers from every species in the galaxy. Individuals who had noticed the patterns, who had sensed something was wrong, and who had chosen to disappear from their normal lives to join the fight. "How many?" Voss asked, clearly awed by the scale of the operation. 12,000 from 43 different species, Elena replied proudly. "Turns out, when faced with extinction, sentient beings have a remarkable capacity to work together." As the briefing concluded, each member of the alien delegation faced a choice. They could return to the Council with the official story and wait to see if humanity's plan would work, or they could stay and join the fight. In the end, all 6 chose to stay. 3 months later, when the collective finally arrived at the galaxy's edge, it encountered something it had never faced before in a million years of conquest. Not a panicked civilization broadcasting distress calls, not scattered resistance that could be easily overcome, but a united galaxy fighting with weapons specifically designed to destroy it. The war that followed would be remembered for millennia as the moment when the galaxy's species truly learned what it meant to stand together. And at the heart of that unity were the humans, the species that had been willing to disappear completely in order to save everyone they cared about. In the end, humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology or their courage. It was their unwavering belief that some things are worth any sacrifice, and that no one fights alone when the stakes are the survival of everything you love.